What's up, everyone? Shawn here with another live Live to Roll. We're back with another fun show today. Today we're just talking to our buddy Jonathan, Mr. Wheelz, part of the Live to Roll fam here. But we're gonna be talking some gaming, life, all this kind of stuff. So do intros. I'm Shawn. I am a C5, C6 quadriplegic from a snowboarding accident 19 years ago now. Tom, let's go for it.
What up, everybody? It's Tom Conway, C6B quadriplegic, coming at you from beautiful, cloudy Southern California. Want that sunshine to come on back, but that's all good. Just to make shout out, I'm just noticing all of us handsome gentlemen are wearing some awesome merchandise. If you look at that Shopify link just below this video, you too can look just as styling as we are if you feel so inclined. We appreciate you guys. I just wanted to shout out the merch real quick. Let's send it on over to Bobby.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bobby Rohan. I just have to mess with Tom every once in a while. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Bobby Rohan. I'm a C5-6 quadriplegic of 34 years, and I'm out of cloudy, very hazy Huntington Beach, California here. But enough about me. I want to know what Mr. Wheels thinks. Take it away, Jonathan.
What's up?
Well, hello, I'm Jonathan Briones. I was born with a disability known as arthrogryposis. It's when your muscles and or joints aren't fully developed at birth. And I think I got the special luxury of getting both. I got the and. I'm in California also, but it's very sunny over here in Apple Valley.
Dang,
Nice.
that's my bad for not being out there with Mr. Wheels playing some Rocket League right now. That's my bad, but I'm glad the sunshine's still out there. If anybody is a frequenter of the Literal channel, or at least checking out some adaptive gaming on Wednesday night with your boy T Fizzle, you probably ran into Mr. Wheels a time or two on there because he does generally join me for the stream. And we hang out, we do a lot of gaming, and yeah, we just had the pleasure of meeting Jonathan at the LA Abilities Expo this year. He was there promoting his YouTube channel. So before we get any further, I think it's important to shout out that Jonathan does have his own YouTube channel where he does his show, What Mr. Wheels Thinks, every week, if I'm not mistaken, or at least mostly every week, except on the weeks where he's super crazy busy. But it's honestly really awesome. It's very topical. It talks about disability related things and non disability related things. But it's fun to hear his commentary. And there's also some cool videos, like you can check out how Jonathan cooks. Lines on there doing some awesome barbecuing and other cool adaptive activities for different kinds of disabilities. We are a little spinal cord injury centric on this channel because we all have spinal cord injuries, but we do try to, highlight lots of different kinds of disabilities and just, live in how everybody, navigates it. And Jonathan is a very amazing example of that. So if you feel so inclined, we highly encourage you to do so. Go check out What Mr. Wheels Thinks on YouTube. I'm sure Shawn will link it
It's linked.
below.
It's in the description below. You can click.
Description. So all you got to do is click the hyperlink. That's all you got to do, and then you got to hit subscribe and make sure to watch all the videos and hit like on all the videos. Uh,
Yeah.
so
And shout out your brother Lloyd in the chat.
Hey,
yeah. Shout out Crypto Rob in the
Yeah,
chat
shout out
too.
everybody in the chat.
What's up, our buddy Rob? What's up, Erica and Kevin? Dude, Kevin's getting geared up for Chicago. Uh, we all are getting geared up for Chicago. And Darren said he just subbed to Mr. Wheels, and we appreciate you, Darren. Love you, man. So, Jonathan, tell us a little bit about your disability, what it is at least. Is it something could be mistaken, but I'm assuming it's onset at birth?
yes, it was at birth. Basically, it's what I get the gist of is I was wrapped in my mom's umbilical cord during birth, and as I got bigger, as I grew in her stomach, it just got tighter and tighter and tighter, and it got so tight, I think it started cutting off the circulation to my whole body for the blood to flow, and it didn't allow to some of my muscles and joints to fully develop because they were being so constricted. And as I got basically older, like not older, but almost to the point of being birthed, closer to the 9 months part, they noticed that my heart rate was slowing down, and then that was because the umbilical cord was wrapped around my throat. And so they said we need to go in emergency C-section and get him out of there because he's basically getting choked out. And so they went
Yeah.
in there and they cut it off. And when I came out, my mom says that she remembers me coming out like if I was sitting like Indian style, like legs crossed,
Uh-huh.
and basically because my hips were dislocated at birth. So when I
Uh-huh.
came out like Indian style, and then they basically went to emergency surgery and I guess fixed them up as best as they could. And I think I was in there for a few days, maybe longer. I'm not too sure about that. But after that, I came home and then went home to three older brothers. And doctors told them, don't treat your brother no differently, even though he's in a wheelchair. And boy, did they listen. Choke slams
Uh,
on bridges and everything. So that's why I'm tough now because I got brothers.
Nice.
I like to hear that. I can really relate to it too, because I know we don't often have guests on that have disabilities kind of earlier onset in their life, and I don't know. That's how I was. I was injured very early in my adolescence, so it's just a topic that is really interesting to me because I'm always curious, how other individuals' experiences growing up with the disability, how it was, because I can really relate to a lot of those things. But similarly with the siblings, like I got a bro and a sis that are very close to my age, and yeah, there was definitely no punches pulled when it was sharing a room with my brother and fighting over the PlayStation. Like it was definitely a little toughen up, but I was very happy for the tough love because yeah, it was awesome. It was great. It toughened me up.
Nice.
uh,
Uh,
big shout out to our buddy Lone Fractal, aka Emilio, in the chat too. I Not only is he a fellow friend and fellow gamer, is going to be gaming in a tournament with Jonathan this weekend, but he's also a part of the What Mr. Wheels thinks too, right? He helps with the production and the
He's
editing and things like
producer.
that.
He is my Sean Fluke, as I call him.
Yeah, yeah,
nice.
he's the magic, behind the in the background.
Does
So
he
Magic.
do
big
like
shout
the
out to
editing stuff too, right?
Yes, he does everything. I just basically put the camera on me, push play, and I send him the recording, and I say, "This is what I want on it," and he makes all the things come up. So he's my magician man. That's why
so
I call him.
Jonathan's just the pretty face.
He's just all I am. Yeah. So shout out to Lone Fracto. He edits his own music. So I said, you know what? You edit your music. How about you edit some video? And he has. He's getting so much better. And I could even tell in his music's getting better
Oh, that's
because
cool.
he's.
So is he, do you use some of his original music in your stuff then?
I do. If I
That's really cool. I didn't know that was original music by him.
Yep, that's
I'm
all original.
gonna check out Emilio on Spotify too, aka Lone Fractal, and
Check.
he's awesome. And we also got the pleasure of hanging out with him at the Abilities Expo too. He was hanging at the booth all weekend at Mr. Wheels' booth, um, representing represent what Mr. Wheels thinks.
Yeah.
Um, so let's just talk about the channel a little bit since we're kind of on that topic. What was your inspiration for starting a YouTube channel?
Well, honestly, it kind of started like during kind of COVID. I
Um,
was sitting there watching Twitch, and I don't know if y'all know what Twitch is. Basically, it's the streaming channel where you can watch video game players play video games
Yeah,
as they play.
gamer.
I kind of like that, and I was like, I kind of want to do that. I'm bored just sitting here in my dorm doing nothing but playing video games. So I started
uh,
doing it. I wasn't a good player, but that's what the channel was at first. Was me playing video games. And then all of a sudden, I came back from graduating KU, and I wanted to keep my skills sharpened because I did graduate with a degree in journalism and communication, mainly just communication studies, mass communication, and because I want to be a sports broadcaster, sports commentator one day, and
Nice.
I wanted to keep
uh,
my tools sharpened. And yes, I do coach basketball at the local community college, but that's the coaching part, and I wanted to keep the media part going. So I figured maybe I just start talking about whatever I saw on the news or in the sports world. And at first, it became like a more of a blog at first. I was typing stuff like kind of like newspaper status and then putting pictures up. And then after a while, I kind of got bored of that. Like, I kind of want more to it. So what I started doing is I started typing 5 blogs, and then when I reached 5, I would record a video of me talking about the blogs I just wrote about. But then I
Cool.
started feeling like it's kind of a little cheating, and I kind of like repeating old news I just repeated out there the days before. So I was like, what if I acapella this and just kind of make notes on things that I see during the weekend, just talk about it off the top of my head. And that's kind of how the show started. And talked to my friend Emilio and said, I need help editing, cutting stuff. He tried helping me, showing me how to do it on a program. Put the program on my TV, on my TV. He put the program on my computer, and I sat there for about 5 minutes trying to figure it out, trying to cut just 3 seconds of a video, and it took me like 10 minutes to do. And I said, "Bro, I can't do this. Like just to cut 3 seconds, it took me 10 minutes. Well, you could do it in 2 minutes. Like I'll just pay you to do it for me." And he's like, "Okay." And he agreed on it because it would give him more practice to more skills to do his music. And I was told him I'll pay you a little bit. And so he's like, yeah. And then I told him let's make this as big as we can, see what we could do. And then my brother came along. He kind of saw what I was doing, and he's like, he knows about the Abilities Expo, and he's like, "What if I just get you a booth?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't even know if I'm worthy to be there. I don't know." So I went there, and then I met you guys. I was like, "Oh, I'm not the only crazy guy here. Cool." And then once I met you guys, I felt like I found my spot in like the media world. Like, okay, there's people out there, the group of people doing the same thing I'm doing or trying to do the same thing, bring awareness to the disability community. And I love that. And then the cooking stuff, like I honestly got that from you guys. I saw Tom making a sandwich, almost cutting himself. And I was like, ah, like cringe scream. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is so fun. Like, I kind of want to do that. And so that's when I did the barbecue, So it's like, you guys are inspiring me. I'm just like 1 years old. I'm not sure how old your guys' show is, but I'm a baby and I see what you guys are going. I'm like, I want to be just like y'all when I get big. So that's kind of where it's gone now.
No, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, we just met you and like totally vibed with you at the expo and just got along. Yeah, it was just cool, man. So, and we're happy to try to help you get going and doing your thing. And yeah, you got a fun, good personality, and you actually have a background in journalism and all that stuff. So yeah, dude, that's cool, man.
It
Keep it
helps.
up.
Well, that was the first thing that I noticed is your communication skills are definitely above average. You just have such a bright personality. You so positive. You have such a awesome, cool, interesting insight into lots of different things. So it is fun and awesome to listen to you. I've been subscribed to what Mr. Wheels thinks for gosh. Probably like a couple months now, and no, your videos are fun, and honestly, I love it's like super refreshing. Like I've watched so many YouTube videos about like disabilities and stuff. Like you do talk about and highlight like your activities and the adaptive rec and the adaptive shooting and stuff like the Abilities Expo, but you mixed it in with other cool regular content that you just commentate and talk about and stuff. And I love consuming content like that too, and it's definitely very fun, and entertaining. Listen to your take. So I think you definitely fit in this world of media and communication, and you can definitely tell that you're passionate about it because like you said, you're the face baby. It's like put the camera on me, I'm ready to go, dude. Let's do it.
Ready. Let's do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jonathan, you have a really good act for your liveliness for the camera. Very energetic. You keep the people entertained throughout your commentary of what you're thinking about, and flow pretty well between subjects. And so I was wondering, when before you go live, do you write it out, or do you just start spewing what was in your head for the week? And if it's about sports or newsworthy or entertainment, is it like, oh yeah, I did see this, or yeah, what's And especially, I always liked the when you were talking about football when I was checking out your channel, and John and I are big football fans, so I'll request that during the football season more. But I wanted to know how you approach when you go and tape your show.
So right now, yeah, I just kind of something pops up during the week that interests me. I just put it in my notes in my phone, and I just type up like. So, for instance, for example, thing that caught my eye last week was BattleBots. It's a show on Discovery Channel where they fight robots and stuff, and that's something I noticed I've been watching, and I was like, I haven't talked about this, so I just write in my notes BattleBots, and then I write underneath it certain little key points that I think that I need to touch on. So when it is on, and like what round of the show it's in, and certain bots that stand out to me, I guess. So I just put little bullet points on there underneath the subject, and then I try to expand on it as much as I can. If I know it's going to be hard for me to expand on a subject, which most of the time it's really not, because it's most of the subject that I'm interested in. But if it's a subject hard for me to expand on, I will try to do as much detailed notes on my phone as I can. So a lot of times in my video, you do see me looking at my phone, which is mounted on my eyeball mount. Shout out to eyeball mount, who helps me a lot. But yes, it's mounted right there in my face, and now I can just look over and read it.
Okay,
And you
so
guys,
you got your little teleprompter, there ready to go. I like it. You got to
Yeah.
keep your notes going. I think anybody that has like at least like tried to make like a legit produced show, like you do got to do a little background work. You got to come up with your questions. You got to make sure you got your topics laid out and stuff because there's are those moments where like you finish the thought, you got to like jump to the next one, and you got to be ready to go. You gotta have it ready to go. Now on that note though. I'm kind of always again like curious how Jonathan became Jonathan. How did you? Have you always kind of been this confident and stuff? I used to be very quiet when I was younger, and as I got in high school and stuff, I just did some like improv classes and some like acting stuff and speaking classes, and it did really kind of help me discover my voice and find my confidence. Being kind of as loud and as confident as you are, when you're interacting. Have you always been like that, or how did you learn it if you did?
honestly, that comes from coaching basketball. When you're a
Okay.
coach, you're in the
Yeah.
gym with about sometimes in the summertime when you're doing tryouts, there's about 60 to 100 players in your gym bouncing a ball and you hear squeaky shoes. And if you need to get a point across, you need to be loud and you need to
Yeah.
be authoritative because some of these
Yeah.
kids think they're young adults and they think they know everything. So you need to remind them they don't know everything and that you are the one that knows what you're talking about. So a lot of the confidence and my outspokenness comes from being a basketball coach. I wasn't always like this. I really wasn't. It wasn't until I got to junior college at Chaffey College. The coach told me, Jonathan, you know what you're talking about. Vocalize it. Put it out there. Talk with your chest. Say it like a man. All right, I got you. So I started doing it. And when I did it, I noticed the players were like, hey, they listen. And then they kind of, it's that like reassurance. I tell them to do something and then they did it and then they point back at me. Like that was for you because you told me to do it. And I'm like, oh shit, it worked. Like, oh. So I was like, just be more, just speak more. And I started learning closed mouth don't get fed. So
Yeah.
There you go.
That was kind of like what I was told because I did this acting class in like my freshman year of high school, and it was like an improv thing mostly, but we had to like prepare a scene to like do at the end of the year or end of the semester, and I was just so soft spoken, and that was it. Like I would talk like I would talk like this instead of like what you just said, talking like from deep in your voice, like taking the breath and like really talking for your voice and learning to project. But it also is like, oh shit, like people can hear me, like hey, like it's also like they listen to me too, like when I do talk and when I do that. So yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool. Did
I actually took in at junior college at Chaffey and at Kansas and at UNLV. I took theater classes also, and that's something they taught me to project the voice like you're talking about. And at KU, I kind of killed it there. I did a lot better. And my last semester, the theater coach, the theater teacher, she was asking me to be a part of the program, and I was like, I'm leaving. She's like, but why? You're so perfect. Like, have you ever done theater before? I said, no. She says you need to. And I said, well, too late. I should have done it earlier. But it coaching basketball and being in theater, mixture of that is made me who I am.
What got you
well,
started on the coaching in the first place? Like,
yeah.
what made your interest kind of go there?
So in middle school, I was in seventh grade. I wanted to try out for my middle school basketball team. And I knew, obviously, and Tom can kind of relate to this. When you're in an electric wheelchair and you kind of say you want to play the sport, first thing people say, well, don't run nobody over, don't hurt nobody. Fine, don't worry, I won't. And
Yeah.
I did so well in doing that. There was even a part in practice where the ball was being swung around the perimeter, and I timed it right, and I jumped the lane and I put my hand out and I tipped the pass and I took off and I kicked it forward to my teammate. And my teammate got layup, and the coach just looked at me like, "What?" Like, and so he kind of told me like, I have to put you on the team, but I can't play you because there's so many, regulations and stuff. But you need to be on
Yeah.
my team." And so I kind of put in my head, okay, if I'm going to be on the team, what am I going to do on the bench? That's when I said, oh, I could coach. I should give instructions, do strategies. And so it was
Yeah.
kind of cool that year. Coach gave me a jersey and he said, you can have first choice of whatever jersey you want. So, of course, when you're in middle school, you grab that number 23 because back in the day it was Jordan.
Hell
Jordan was
yeah.
my boy. It wasn't no LeBron James yet. It was Jordan. Jordan was my guy. So 23 I grabbed, and I had a jersey and I was part of the team. And then it wasn't until I got to high school I wanted to continue doing that. And I approached the basketball coach and said I would like to be on the basketball team, help out coach. And he I liked it because he didn't say, okay, come on. He didn't just give me a free ride. He said, I need you to come to the tryouts because I want to know what you know. I want to know your basketball IQ first before I just throw you there. And my basketball IQ was so high, higher than he thought it was. He was like, I'll give you a choice. You can either help me out on varsity or you can help out with JV. And I said, well, and I'm young. I was a freshman. I didn't know yet. I was like, what's varsity? Like, let's just do JV. And he's like, all right. And so I'm sitting there waiting for varsity to come practice. And these big old dudes walked in. I was like, whoa. And they're like, this is varsity team. That's varsity? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, I want to coach them. And he's like, okay, well, you can. So I just started coaching then and just kept going and going and went to another school. And I just wanted to continue. So each time I went to school, I'd make sure my previous coach talked to the new coach and let them know that I was coming in.
Nice.
Hell yeah,
That's
dude.
how. That's how. I think it was Miami coach, the coach for Miami Dolphins. He knew at a young age in high school. He's like, I'm not going to be a football player, but I love this sport so much. So if I can't be a player, I might as well go the coaching route, and that's what he did. And I think for us, thinking about how can we be involved in things, you can always be involved on the backside if that's coaching, front office, all the way to, hey, I can be the president of this team. You never know until you get out there and put yourself out there. It's not all about being the player.
Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
dribble the ball or throw the football or catch it. You can tell them to throw it. You can tell them where to catch it. You can be that guy.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's, I think kind of one of the unique things about experiencing life with a disability, it does kind of put you in a different position where you got to be creative, where you got to find, a different way to be involved if, you can't be involved in the traditional way. But also the unique thing about that is just like you said, your intelligence and your IQ, even not being a player, maybe it's like a different perspective and a different insight that, the player's mind maybe had a hard time, gaining that insight because they were playing it versus on the outside looking in and getting that like third party perspective and getting a bigger picture and just like you said gaining a better insight into the strategy and different elements of the game. And that's the unique thing about disabilities is it does that for I think a lot of different aspects of life is it can offer you a very different insight, a different perspective that many other individuals don't have because they don't, it sounds like odd, but they're not lucky enough to have this unique experience or a unique insight or a way of looking at things because just of their lack of experience in that particular place. So very cool, and I think really interesting and amazing too, and something definitely something to take away for other individuals too. If you find yourself, maybe frustrated and not being involved in, kind of the traditional way or maybe a way you were once involved, there's always opportunity I think to get involved and also offer and bring something to the table that nobody else even could so yeah, it's very cool, super awesome, Jonathan. And now I'm really curious too about your college experience, man. Where have you gone? And it sounds like you were away from home
Yeah,
for a
one
while
bunch of
too.
places.
I
Yeah, I'm.
was Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
went. Wow, I went away. I went to two universities. I went to my first. Was a junior college out of high school in Rancho Cucamonga, Chaffey College. I went there for about 4 or 5 years. Took me a while because I was only taking certain subjects in the beginning. Then I learned, oh, you need more. Okay. And then I I wanted to go to a college that I could possibly hop on the basketball team. And so one of my players on my team at Chafee told me about UNLV. It's only 3.5 hour drive, 3 hour drive from my parents. Their basketball program is not that bad. So I applied there. I got in. I was there for about a year. And the big thing was finding a caregiver, finding someone to help take care of me, as you all know, pretty much. And I had it going good for a little while. And then the guy that was taking care of me, he was going to have a newborn. And I can kind of tell he was going to be stuck in a tough decision, and I can tell that he wanted to basically take on both. I'm gonna help my wife with the newborn and take care of John, and I was like, I appreciate that, I love that with all my heart, but I'm gonna make the executive decision, and I'm gonna make you just take care of your newborn. I felt wrong to me to ask him to pick between him, his family, and me, even though he was like, no, you're part of my family, and I was like, I love your family, I am a part of your family, but that's a whole different animal. That's a whole different
Yeah.
beast. I know my brothers have babies, newborns. I've seen it. Like it's just different. I don't want to put you in that situation. So I'm gonna leave. So I left, came back home, tried to go to Cal Poly Pomona, couldn't get in. And my brother Lloyd, who you all know, was living in Missouri at the time. And I went to go visit him just to go get out of California because I was in a rut because I couldn't get into his school. And he was like, "Why don't you just apply to Kansas? You're a big basketball fan. Like their basketball program's legendary." And I was like, at the time, I was like I'm not gonna get in. Like I'll just apply anyways, just to make them happy, just to show them that I applied. And I applied, and then about 2 weeks later, I'm sitting in my apartment in Pomona with my mom, and I got an email saying, "Congrats, you've been accepted at University of Kansas."
Nice.
I said, "Oh no, no, I gotta move to Lawrence." So I moved to Lawrence in the first few months. My brother Lloyd was taking care of me, driving all the way to my dorm room, and then taking care of me in the morning. And then, luckily, I found a good friend in a computer lab in one of the computer labs on KU campus, and his name was Hasip Shin, and he's from South Korea, and he was just a student worker, and he would always help me log on to the computers every morning, and I talked to him, got to know him, and he got to know me and my situation, and he kind of learned like, wait, your brother drives from Missouri, which is about 45 minutes away, every morning to come get you dressed, and then go back to his school and then come check on you for dinner and then go all the way back home and do it every day for 5. And I go, even on the weekends. I go, yeah. He said, dang, that's a lot. And he said, I live here on campus. If you need help, I'm more than willing to help if you're comfortable with it. And at the time I was desperate, and I was like, dude, I don't care if you're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it. So I gave him a trial run one weekend, and it was perfect. And uh, I kind of said, look, if you start helping me out, I will pay you out of my own pocket for you helping me. And he did, and it was going good for a while. It was going great, and then I had an accident where I fell out of my wheelchair on campus, and it actually kind of was a blessing in disguise, is what I say, because after I fell out of my wheelchair, I was on a waiting list to get a caregiver, but the waiting list was 12 to 13 months. And I was probably about 4 or 5 months in, so I was almost halfway there. Then I fell, and in the hospital, they asked me, "Do you have care?" I said, "No." Told them my situation and said, "Well, because of this, what's happened to you, you can ask them for you to get expedited, and you'll basically get pushed in front of the line." I said, "Cool, really?" So I did all that, and within not even a month later, my friend Hasip, who was taking care of me, was finally getting paid from the state to take care of
Oh
me.
hell
And
yeah.
after that, it was just smooth running after that. And that's why I was like, it was, yeah, I felt I hurt myself, but it kind of speed up the process. So
Yeah.
it was a thing in the sky. It's like, yeah, I was hurting, but I got the homie paid so I could stop paying him out of my own pocket, which I didn't care. But, I was like, I only have so much money. And it worked. So I stood there for 3 years at KU,
Nice.
and I graduated in the fall of 2021 with a degree in communication studies, and then I moved back, all the way back to California with my mom, and now I've just been sitting here waiting for my job offers. That's all I do.
Did you help
You know
out with
what?
Kansas basketball team at all?
I tried. My first summer there, I helped out with the Bill South basketball camp, and basically they just make you take care of all these kids from like 8 years old all the way to 18 years old, and it was cool. It was a cool experience, but I have my own little opinions about the way they run things and how they pick their managers. I noticed if you don't have a really nice cleavage and a nice booty, they don't really want to hire you. They want eye appeal for the basketball players and for the coaches to walk in the office. But yeah, anyways, because I just felt I was like, y'all missing opportunity. I'm right here, and they just I felt like they every time I approached them. I even met Bill Self 3 times. The last time I met him, I was in the elevator by myself with him, and I kind of let him have it in a way, like, "Hey, I wanted to be on the team," and he's like, "Well, let's get you on the team your senior year." I said, "Sir, it is my senior year, and it's my last semester. So what are you gonna do now?" And I said, "No, but I wish you the best of luck this year, and I hope you guys just know that you guys lost an opportunity of something great on the end of your bench." And he's like, "Okay." And then I know I got him tongue twisted because when I left the elevator, his only response to me was, I had a San Francisco Giants jersey on, and his only response to me that he could say after I left the elevator was, "Sir, Buster Posey's your guy." And I turned around and I laughed. I said, "Yes, sir, Buster Posey's my guy." He had nothing else to say. And I was like, all right. But that year, I think I lit a fire in them because that year after I left, they won a national championship. So
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah,
Self is waiting for my
that's
ring.
fine.
It was all Mr. Wheels. It was
I'm
definitely
waiting
all
for my
that.
ring. I'm still waiting for my ring. Yeah.
That's so
Um,
cool.
you're funny, man. And
So
we all know and love how funny Jonathan is. Uh, outside of like your media stuff on YouTube, is there any interest in journalism? Is there any other like communication mediums like comedy or anything like that you've thought about exploring or want to explore?
Uh, no, I mean, lots of people tell me, and I mean, I don't really believe it sometimes, but a lot of people tell me, like, dude, you should do stand up comedy. And I'm like, ah, like, and then I'm learning like, well, all it is just you sitting there talking about your life and just putting a little funny twist on it. And a lot of times you're just telling the truth and they laugh. I'm like, no, that's a true story. Like that actually happened. And I thought about that, but it's just you have to get really personal, and then you're basically telling the whole world what happens in your life. And I have
And
thought
I'm
about.
sure
I like sports. I'll stick with sports and video
I'm
games.
sure it's difficult too. Like I'm sure it's not as simple as just getting up on stage talking. Like at least like the successful ones. I'm sure there's some kind of magic that they bring to it. Most definitely. But you are very interested in gaming. That's kind of like one of the big things Jonathan and I bonded over was our love for gaming, video games. I obviously do my streaming once a week, and I'm just an advocate for like personally like to game with my buds online, just to have fun together and pass the time. But you are taking it to another level, Jonathan. You are getting ready to compete in a um, video game tournament. Now, for anybody that isn't super familiar, esports is a thing, which is just exactly what it sounds like. It's like competitive gaming. And it's a
sports.
pretty big community, but it still doesn't have a lot of viewership, a lot of popularity. There are a couple like esport events that happen every year, but again, unless you're a gamer and kind of in that like Twitch space in that world, you don't really hear about it too much. But there are a few adaptive gaming tournaments. That Logitech sponsors, and there's like a couple big companies that are a part of it. And I know Able Gamers and stuff has brought a lot of light to adaptive gaming, and Live to Roll and T Fizzle Gaming has obviously brought a lot of attention to adaptive gaming. Just kidding. But tell us a little bit about this tournament, man. One, just what it's about, how many people are involved, what you know about it in terms of like adaptive gamers and how many are going to be a part of it, and then how did you get involved? For anybody that else might be interested in esports or something like that, is there any way for them to get involved? I know that was a
Well,
lot of questions, so
how
I'm gonna just throw it at
how
you.
I got involved. Shout out to Airwheels, Sue Rob. He's kind of like my manager. I'm calling him my manager. Sue Rob.
Airways, aka Hell Wheels, aka Sue Rob.
Yeah,
He is the man, dude. Sue Rob is
he,
the
Actually,
man.
actually, he's down south today. He's doing something for gaming, and He was like in Orange County. He was all stressed last night talking to him on the phone. It's just like, I'm so nervous. You wouldn't give me much details, but it's probably because it's top secret or something. But something to do with gaming. He's at a place down south. So
Yeah, see, he's the one that told me about it at the Wheelchair Sports Festival that Triumph had a few weeks ago. He told me about it because he's seen on my stream that I play Rocket League, and he was kind of asking me questions about it, my rank and all that stuff. And he's telling me about these tournaments. He says they're adaptive tournaments where everybody in the playing has some sort of a disability, and they classify you. You have to get basically you have to sign up. You have to fill out all the forms, not a lot, just a couple of questions here and there, basic information, and then you get scheduled a Zoom meeting with a doctor that's represented from one of their medical groups, and RN calls you, and they basically do a Zoom chat like this, and they ask you a few questions just to see what group classifications they're gonna put you in.
is
So
that regarding your ability with function?
yes, so I guess like me, yes, my hands are down here and stuff, but I can still use a regular controller. I just sit the controller on my lap and I press the buttons. So I'm just using a regular controller. But
Uh-huh.
then there's players that have adaptive controllers where the buttons are a little bit bigger and it's just a little bit easier for them to press. Those players will be playing each other, and that's how they group you. If you use an adaptive controller, it doesn't give you an advantage or anything. It really doesn't. People think it gives you an advantage. It doesn't give you an advantage. So these are all the dates that we will be playing. That's why this upcoming weekend is the 10th, 11th, and I'm very nervous and excited for it. But we're ready. I want to get to that September 1st date. But they group you into. I'm thinking like two categories: non-adaptive controllers and adaptive controllers. I'm a non-adaptive controller user, so I just use a regular controller. And then, like I said, they have the adaptive controller users, and I believe that's the only two groups they have. But rather than that, I mean, the reason why I'm so nervous about it, like it's adaptive players just like you. These players are no joke. Like I went back and watched. You guys can go back to go on the Logitech YouTube and look at their summer kickoff and even last year's qualifiers. And I'm like, there's no way these guys are using a regular controller with one arm and their chin. He is. There's a player using one arm and playing the controller like a violin, putting it over his shoulder and pressing the other buttons with his chin.
Wow.
And he
Yeah,
is
he's
literally the
pro.
number 5 ranked player on 1v1s. And I thought, like, this is astonishing. So that's why I'm a little stressed because I'm not at that level yet, but I'm trying to be. And I'm learning new techniques that me and Low Fractal are learning. And so, like, it's amazing because their prize pool has increased dramatically every
Yeah, it
year.
looked like a
And
pretty good prize spots.
yes, like last year it was only 6,000. This year it's gone up to 25,000. So it's like each year it's in growing because more viewers are getting on it, more players are getting on it. There's no cost to get on it. You don't have to pay any fee. The only thing you just have to get
How
approved.
many how many people are involved? Like how many players?
It's 2 versus 2, so it's you and your teammate versus 2 other people.
And is there a
So
I mean,
maximum amount of teams or players?
is there like 50 teams or is there like 100 teams? Like, do you know
that's
how
what
many
I'm
teams?
not too sure about. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
Last time I checked, there was probably like 8 teams in each qualifier, but that was at the beginning. Now that I check,
yeah,
we're actually playing somebody different, and that's probably because there's more teams added. So who
yeah,
knows? Last time I checked in the summer kickoff, I believe there was about around between 28 to 32 teams, and each team has 2 players. So there's a
yeah.
lot of players out there. And what they're doing too is if you don't have a teammate, you could still sign up, and they will group you with somebody that also doesn't have a teammate. So
That's
it's
cool.
it's it's
Yeah.
good.
Sean,
Uh,
you want to be my teammate, and you
Dude,
and I
me
can
and
be
you
like,
we'd be out the first minute.
of
We'd
course,
make it
play like
5 minutes
10
into a
seconds.
game.
uh,
Who's your teammate,
I,
Jonathan? Is it Sarab?
No, my teammate is Emilio Renaga Lonfracto. He's in the chat, but yes, he's my team.
yeah,
He's my editor, my producer for my show, and we actually have a third. He knows who he is. He's right there. Tom. Tom's our third. Tom doesn't know it. Tom's our
I'm
sub.
the,
He's on,
I'm just
Tom's on the
uh,
bench. Tom's warm up man.
Yeah,
to
if
me,
we get a finger cramp or if I pull a muscle in my hand, I gotta tap Tom in, and
Well,
Is that
that's the
legit? Do you
way.
guys get a sub?
No,
First
I
and
don't think we get a
foremost,
sub, but
I'm the cheerleader. For Rolling Hard, which is the team of the name slightly questionable, but I'm gonna just roll with it. I'm just kidding. It is. I'm a cheerleader. I'm just here for the love and support, first and foremost. But if you ever do need, professional gamer like T Fizzle to step up to the plate, I'm here for it.
So,
you can always send me in.
so why didn't
But
you sign up, or why don't you sign up? Just
uh,
big
Well,
question.
I just started playing Rocket League like a week ago.
oh, okay.
I never really played the game before. I played it like one time years ago with a buddy, and I tried it. I sucked at it. I just never played it again. I have been trying to feature free, easy to access games on the stream. One to hopefully get some outside gamers involved. Like Rocket League is free to download. There's just cosmetics and stuff you can like purchase in the game, but you can just download and play it. Anybody can if you have a PlayStation, an Xbox, or a PC. So I thought it would be a great, fun game to just feature on the pod to try to get some outside people to maybe download and get on with us. And it ended up after I got a little coaching from professional coach extraordinaire, Mr.
Oh, me.
Jonathan
Sorry, I was me.
Wheels.
I was harsh that day. I'm sorry.
It ended up being like kind of a lot of fun. I got into it. I got learned the mechanics a little bit. I had to remap the buttons on my controller because it wasn't very accessible to start. But again, we are all about accessibility and adapting on the literal adaptive gaming channel. So that's what we did on the stream. Is I remapped the controller. I made it a little bit more accessible and easier to play. And then next thing you know, me and Low Fractal and Mr. Wheels, we were just dubs all night. We were scoring left and right, and it was super fun. So I might look into it in the future, especially if Surab wants to maybe be a teammate too. Jonathan and Amelia could stick together. Maybe Surab and I can get involved, as a team in the future. But yeah, that's going to be next year. Esports, Game in Jersey, Live to Roll, T Fizzle, Mr. Wheels, Hell Wheels. We're going to get everybody jerseys. It's on, baby. It's going to be dope. Um,
Hey
but
guys,
we'll see.
in the chat, a couple of guys were asking about the PS5 for adaptive controllers. You guys know of anything?
I do. I'm actually very informed on the matter. There is a cool. So anybody that is familiar with Casey Beats, Caesar, he's been on the show a couple times. He's actually involved in the development of adaptive controller for PlayStation. It's called Project Leonardo. I'm sure it's going to be like the PlayStation adaptive controller, but Sony always gives like a little code name to their projects that they're developing, and that's their adaptive controller project. So if you Google Project Leonardo or just PlayStation adaptive controller, it'll be the first link on Google, and you can actually check it out. Check out the layout of the controller, the idea behind the adaptive nature of it, the customizability of it, and it's yeah, going to be a new thing that is coming out. I know that there's the Microsoft adaptive controller as well, and I am almost 100% sure. It might be finicky getting it set up, but it's not console locked, meaning you can use a different. You shaking your head? No,
Yeah,
Mr. Wills. Is it not? You can't use it on Sony.
not yet. Nope.
You can use it on PC and Xbox. You can't use it on Sony. That's Sony's bad, because it really should be kind of universal. It's a gamepad, meaning it's got the same basic inputs and functions of any controller, and it could be utilized on any system. But they want to do their own thing, and that's fine. I hope it's affordable and I hope it's functional. The idea behind adapting is just making one thing that works for everybody. But having multiple products in the market, I think definitely will incentivize cool development in different, you know, styles of adapting, controllers for different disabilities and things like that. So it's not all bad, but there is a specific PS5 or PlayStation product that's going to be coming out. I think it's either end of 2023 or early 2024 is when they should be having it out. Um, so yeah, that that's what
Yeah,
there
to
is
me,
on that.
having two different options, it would be great if you could use either option on either system so that you have more adaptability. So if one thing works a little better for one person, like that PlayStation did or that Xbox did, so that would be cool if it was kind of more of a universal adaptability for cross system control. But either way, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, Darren, he was saying like the top buttons for anybody familiar with like a gamepad layout. There's like buttons above like the triggers in the back, and the back buttons are always the hardest for me too because it like necessitates like moving my hand. So like I actually have to change the position of my hand where it's like naturally set on the controller, letting me hit all the buttons. But it's something that we have been talking about and are going to continue to talk about on our live gaming and stuff, and most games these days are implementing these features in like the software side is that the games have accessibility settings to remap the buttons. So you can move R1 and R2 and L1 and L2 to buttons that you don't use frequently or don't use often enough to where like I can jump to them on occasion when I need to, and map like if they are used very regularly to easier, more accessible buttons and stuff. And it's honestly pretty exciting and kind of new thing that accessibility and like the development of the game is being considered, and making I think it games a lot more accessible to a lot more people just by you know adding some additional settings in like the game code rather than even needing a whole adaptive solution, like a physical controller or like a physically adaptive setup. But in any event, if you want to find out more about it, come and hang out with us on Wednesday night because we spend a lot of time talking in depth in detail, and we actually have lots of different individuals with different levels of disability online playing with us. Mr. Wheelz is one. We have our friend THC Goddess Erica, who is always on, who's another quad. Disfu Adrian, if he's still in the chat, will hop on from time to time. And lots of amazing, cool friends. Sue Rob is always on with us too, gaming and hanging out. And you can come and if you want to get on the stream, we can talk about uh, getting your setup. We can play live online and work on practicing or adapting it via the settings and whatever equipment you have. So if that's at all an interest to you, please come and join us. It's super fun. It's like a big highlight of my week every week.
Quad Life's asking what you guys are playing tomorrow. And also later, Lloyd, shout out your brother starting a shift. He said, "Peace out, guys."
Where I really want to try to tap in, like there's this Call of Duty like fan club. Like everyone wants like first person shooters, like high action games. I don't have Call of Duty. I don't really want to pay $70 for that game. But I do have Battlefield 2042, which is like another popular first person shooter. I think to start the stream, I'm probably going to try that out live, just to one see how accessible it is. If I can, get it accessible enough to be decent in a couple of matches, and then after that, we'll probably again hop on and do some practice. We might honestly start the stream with a Rocket League tournament at 5 too if Mr. Wheels is down. So we'll see how the order of things goes, but that's the tentative plan. And you can also hop on the Discord. We'll be talking about it. If anybody wants to join the Live to Roll Discord too, just get in touch with Shawn or me or Jonathan or anybody part of the Live to Roll fam and who's on the Discord, and we can add you. It's just like a online group chat where we talk offline in between the shows and stuff to coordinate gaming, and there's a Live to Roll channel on there too. So if you ever want to come in and talk about show ideas or anything like that, y'all are more than welcome. Um,
Yeah,
let's
I should
get
start
back.
putting the link for that maybe in the description as well. I could maybe. I don't know if that's too much. I don't know if we want to limit the
Uh,
people.
Honestly, Discord is cool because it's just a space outside of the show where we can just continue the dialogue and continue the chat, whether it's about gaming or about the show or just about other stuff. Everyone's there to reply or chime in whenever they feel so inclined. And there's actually a voice channel on there too, so we can all hop in there and actually talk to each other, which is kind of fun, different. So it is cool. I'm a big fan of Discord. It's like very popular in the gaming community just to stay connected to your friends. But I think it's like a cool, fun thing for something like Live to Roll too, for all of us just to stay connected and continue the dialogue outside the show. Because like this is great, and like I love the chat conversation, but why not keep it going? On days that we're not streaming, because yeah, why the heck not? We have the technology.
Yeah, and that's cool. You
Uh,
guys can coordinate games and play like stuff like that.
yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. So, just kind of as we're getting towards the end of the show, get a couple of my last few questions out of the way. This weekend, y'all are playing first round. If you guys qualify, then you get to the next one, right?
It's a double elimination, which is good.
Okay.
okay, so you
Okay.
gotta
So
lose twice.
cool.
We gotta lose twice, but my
All right.
main goal this weekend is to make it to a Sunday. Sunday's broadcast, well, Sunday's games will be broadcasted live on Logitech's YouTube and Twitch account. And I want to get there and do that because they literally have like announcers saying your name. Like, oh, now on Team Rollin', Mr. Wheels. Like that's
Baby, that's what we're
awesome.
practicing for, dude. Let's go.
I need that in my life. Like, I don't even care if I play one game on Sunday. The fact that they'll be like Team Rolling Hard, like that's just I want that. I need that in my life. So that's
Yeah,
excited.
Tom, if you can get that information from Jonathan, and we can put,
Yeah.
or Jonathan, you're on our Discord. If you can,
Yeah.
uh, definitely put that information on our Discord and let everybody know we do have a Discord for you gamers out there. That Tom and I see
And not just
Jonathan.
gamers. I want to say it is for everybody. If you're not into the gaming thing, it's also a place for us to just chat about other topics, to ask questions that we don't cover during the show. Something that Shawn, me, Bobby, Brianna, and the rest of the Literal fam are all a part of. So we can all chime into outside of the show, which is kind of like the other point of it. So don't if you're not a gamer, don't let that discourage you from joining if you
There's
want to.
actually two
Yeah,
separate chats. There's a gaming one that's more specific for the gaming, and there is just the
exactly.
general live to roll one. So you can
Yeah.
adjust that one.
And like I said, it's just a way for us to stay connected offline, off stream, if y'all want to, and feel like trying to be a part of that. Um, Mr. Wheels, you're such an inspiring figure. Before I rattle off on these sponsors here, you got any advice for anybody who's interested in maybe getting into the YouTube space, maybe not the most confident or like outspoken person, but as like a hankering to try to become that? Just got any general advice for anybody out there in our audience who?
My big thing is make sure you're talking about something that interests you. A lot of times people are worried about, oh, what interests people? What is my audience interested in? It may be something that, especially at KU, it's something that I learned. You want to pertain to the audience, but I go a little off the grid. I want to know what I'm interested in. Because if it doesn't
Uh-huh.
interest me, I'm not going to be passionate talking about it. And you can
Exactly.
tell when someone's passionate about something. They're like, in the news today, this happened today. But this happened earlier, later on in the day. Like, you can really see the difference. And I don't ever want that in my show, or I don't want that. So if you want to be a star or a YouTube sensation, just talk about something what you're interested in. Because trust me, people are interested in the same thing you are. Just give it a moment. It'll come.
Yep.
That's how you find your
No,
people, right? I mean,
That's
yeah.
it.
Plus, why are you wasting your time, doing something you don't enjoy, or talking about something you don't enjoy, when it's like so much easier. Like you said, it's like the audience connects to, you know, passion and the real meaningful interests and stuff. That's how those connections are made. And Darren, we'll definitely work on adding you on Discord, man. I don't know if there's any way for you to get in touch with me outside of YouTube, but if you can follow me on Instagram, maybe send me a message. Or shoot, I wish you
is it?
could.
You can
Uh,
email me or message me
yeah,
also, and
I wish.
I'll get you added in there or get it to Tom to add you.
Yeah, you know what, too? If you hop on the gaming stream tomorrow, I don't have it in front of me right now, but if you hop on the gaming stream tomorrow, I can add you live. I'll tell you my Instagram, or not my Instagram, my Discord name, and we'll get it figured out on the other stream. I just don't have all this stuff. Oh, you'll put it in the chat. Okay, dude, I'll add you. I got you. I'll just add you out to the show. Problem solved. We do have to take a moment to thank our sponsors. You mind popping that up real quick, Johnny boy?
Yeah.
Big shout out to Mobility Professionals. If you find yourself in need of a wheelchair or any other rehabilitation equipment and live in the beautiful Southern California area, make sure you go check out Mobility Professionals. They are an amazing company that helps make that process so much easier by talking you through it, having very knowledgeable individuals that ensure that you get in the right equipment, that it's fitted for you, that it's the equipment that can make you most successful and independent in your life. So please go show some love to Mobility Professionals if you haven't and are in need of anything like that. And their sister company, Urology Professionals, similarly with urological supplies and catheter supplies. Anywhere in the beautiful United States of America, you find yourself in need of catheter supplies and you're having a hard time getting them, well, reach out to Urology Professionals and relax as they take over. They'll make the process so easy. They will send you catheters, even if it's just samples to get you what you need until your regular monthly stuff is coming through. And they're just so knowledgeable, so caring. They will really help take care of you and get you catheters. Nobody should be struggling to get urological supplies this day and age with any level of insurance. So if you are in that boat, call them and then relax as they take over and help you out. And I promise that they will be able to. And don't forget to mention that Literal sent you. But yeah, we love our sponsors. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we love sponsors.
Darren, I'll add you as soon as we're off, man. But I got your comment, so don't worry about it.
And yeah, let's just also shout out. We already mentioned it a couple times, but tomorrow, Tom and I'm sure Jonathan, Mr. Wheelz, Sarab, everybody will be on the stream gaming again. So we got gaming tomorrow night, 5 p.m. or whatever your time
And
zone
you know what?
is.
It's so fun, and I promise I'm not just saying that. Like we were having like a ball last week. It was super fun.
Yeah, dude, it always is fun. Like even sometimes I'll usually have it in the background and then like turn it up, turn it when I'm doing something, turn it down. Like so sometimes I'll miss stuff and then I'll pop on and I know it's fun. I just missed something funny as hell because you guys are all laughing about something cool. I'm like, damn it! Wait a minute. So I scroll back.
He turned it down because he always hears me yelling too loud.
That's true. Nah, just kidding. But no, it's a fun stream. It's always so cool. Yeah.
We have Rolling Over the Hill coming up on Thursday too.
Yes. So Thursday, Bobby will be back on with the old guys here for Rolling Over the Hill, talking about aging with a disability. Not sure exactly what the topic for this week is. We'll talk to Bobby here. But next week, Brianna will be back with the women's show. And I think that'll be with the regular girls. The twins will be on, so we get to see them virtually before seeing him in Chicago soon. So yeah, let's shout that out. If anybody's in the Chicago area, I know Kevin CP is going to be out there and some others. So come visit. We will be at the expo. Chicago, or Schaumburg actually is where the city is, outside Chicago.
But it's exciting, and we're gonna have such a fun time. And I would love to see you all at the booth if y'all are local and want to swing on by and say what up. We'll probably try to do a little literal dinner, at least like one night of the weekend while we're there, where we all hang out afterwards and party after the expo, and nothing too crazy. We're not gonna
Parties are fun.
Not gonna be trying to get in trouble out in Chicago, but the literal crew, things tend to get a little wild. Just if history, suggests anything, but hey, we'll see. We shall see. Really awesome adventures, Darren. Everybody, appreciate you guys, and thank you for ordering a hat, Darren. You want to be styling in one of these awesome hats, and I promise that you will be. We appreciate the love and the support, man.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you, Jonathan. You've been part of the Live to Roll crew for a couple months now. Live to Roll fam, dude. Thank you for all the help and the support on the gaming channel and stuff. And we're just really excited and super happy to have met you, man. And been are here to take this journey along with you, dude. So lots of love to you, man, and thank you so much for coming on today.
Man, I appreciate y'all. I was trying to get on this show like the first week I met y'all, but I knew there was a waiting list. I knew, there's some celebrities on here. Gotta wait my turn.
Hey, well, the first appearance of many, the first appearance
Yeah,
of many.
bro. This definitely won't be the last. So first of many.
Anytime y'all want me back, if I got a feeling for Uncle Bobby or Tom, let me know. I'm down. Or just want me here, let me know. I'm with it.
For sure.
Absolutely,
and real quick, Wheelie Adventures asked, the hats are snapback and we have flex fit, no fitted. So we got a couple of options there, but so yeah, check them out on the website. Thank you guys for watching again. And hey, Mr. Wheelz, don't hang up right away. We got hang.
And sorry, everybody.
We got stuff to talk about afterwards.
And sorry, everyone, for having my head down. I'm trying to take care of some mom and dad, water damage and leak and insurance.
Never apologize for being a good son, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
I know. And even the insurance lady's like, oh my God, that is so nice. And I'm like, it's more because I don't trust them to get the right information. So, but yeah. So
awesome,
thanks for letting me.
You're good, Bobby. We appreciate you, man. And Bobby will be back on. We already mentioned it, but tomorrow, rolling over the hill. So check that
Thursday.
out. Or Thursday. Sorry, Thursday. Tomorrow's gaming. Sorry, Thursday's rolling over the hill.
And we're going to be talking about going to the doctor, the importance of going to the doctor, and especially
we're
with
gonna do a show like that on here on the main show too, because it honestly is, I think, very.
I said it first, Tom, so it's I mean, sorry.
I'm gonna take notes while I'm watching Rolling Over the Hill, so we can bring it back and talk about the Live Troll show, because I don't know. I think everybody can relate to that feeling of going to the doctor and leaving wishing you would have asked certain questions, or maybe feeling a little overwhelmed or not totally understanding what happened during the appointment. And nowadays I think even navigating the healthcare system, getting to the right doctor, getting to the specialist, getting to the spinal cord injury physiatrist, figuring out that is just so important and so freaking hard and difficult to navigate. I don't know, it's has been in my experience.
And not only is it freaking hard to gain all those doctors, but to get them to talk to each other about who's doing what and them being on the right page. That's incredibly hard, and I've been working with a team, but sometime within the team, I'm not happy with that one doctor, but that's part of the team that I'm discovering oh yeah, I kind of work with this one. And I'm like, oh God, if I didn't have to, I love him, but I don't like that guy, so it's kind of hard when you have to deal with someone that's totally oblivious to your spinal cord, but he's part of the, the team. So,
And I just went on a journey of getting a physiatrist and a spinal cord injury doctor, that's on my case, and is very familiar with me. And I would love to kind of talk about that journey too, and see if there's any, I think I can educate some individuals on the process and maybe how to, represent for yourself, because it's hard nowadays amidst this difficult healthcare system, we're all a part of, is represent for yourself, get what you need, by being able to communicate effectively. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. And Droosh Marouche, I don't know why this channel keeps popping up on your recommendations. Probably because it's a dope ass channel and you should be checking it out. If it, however, isn't for you and you're like, yo, why are all these crips popping up on my YouTube feed? It's all good, man. We love you. We appreciate the comment. I hope you are. Yeah, make sure to hit like and subscribe, anyways, because it's awesome and we love you.
And Darren, the pick is that's the original logo I had, and it has Live to Roll on the side. So that's the other style hat, just so I know you were saying that. But yeah, it's an awesome channel. Thanks for checking it out. If you don't subscribe, but we hope you do. And yeah, we'll see you guys all next week. Gaming tomorrow. Rolling over the hill Thursday. Cool. Later, everybody. Live to roll.
Live to roll.
Yeah.